And I see Sinead from Health and Society is waiting patiently, and I'm going to ask Sinead to come in just a minute. But before I do, I just want to let you know that we have plenty of other resources that are online. Every Wednesday we are here, albeit this is the last episode for semester one until after Christmas, where we'll be bringing you much more. So don't worry, we'll be back with this particular series after Christmas too. But just to let you know, there's plenty of other resources online. So anything that we do mention today sits with and sits part of an overall picture. So if you do need more information, you want blogs, you want podcasts, you want to hear more on social media and across all of our social media channels. My colleague Sinead does great work on all of our social media channels, so plenty of more information. Before I invite Sinead in, because she's patiently waiting, as are a couple of guests that are listening today, just a couple of quick things, housekeeping. There is a Q&A on your screen. If you want to ask a question as we're speaking, I know Sinead would be delighted to take any questions. If you want to ask a question, please just ask it in the chat function. I don't have to read out your name, so don't worry if you're conscious of that. And as I said, I'll do my very best to put them to Sinead. Before I do invite Sinead across into the room and get going on our conversation, just to remind you as well that the university has plenty on offer in terms of what you might need. So today we're going to talk about 2 courses, but there is plenty more courses. And as I said, there's plenty of information online. So I'm going to promote Sinead across, and hopefully technology will be my friend for the next couple of seconds and work for me properly. Sinead, how are you? How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Did you enjoy my studio? Yeah, the background, the actual studio.
It's nice. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the communications girls on a few weeks ago, and something similar happened, and they were disgusted with me,
I see.
to say the least. Yeah. So.
Well, sure. I mean, what
I know.
can you do? That's what happens when it's all live.
Yeah, I know. There you go. Well, that's what I mean. How are you keeping?
I'm good. Working away. I'm doing a master's now this year in DCU, so kept busy. So I think it's a good year that I've got my head down, doing the study, doing the work. But yeah, I'm happy out.
How has hybrid online learning been so far?
It's been 100% online for me now. I haven't been on campus at all. It was a challenge at the beginning, but I think I've gotten used to it now, that I enjoy it, and there's definitely pros and cons. So you just kind of have to focus on the pros and keep on carrying on. There's not much you can do about it. So I think the one thing that I miss the most about on campus is just the opportunity to meet people and, make friends, especially when you are starting a new course. I feel awful sorry for the first years who are trying to come in, but DCU is doing a great job with the SU, trying to get people to, make friends online, and they're organizing a few bits. So they are doing a good job, and, hopefully next semester things will kind of get a bit more social and in person. But we just have to kind of keep on, I suppose, at the moment and follow the rules. But online learning, it's grand. It's good.
Yeah, it has its pros and cons. I think I was speaking with a couple of other students the last few weeks who are saying pretty much similar. Loads of opportunity, very accessible. The way in which it's done, relatively easy to. But then obviously the social side of it, and the other side, face to face, where it's not possible. So informal, very informal today in terms of trying to find out a little bit more about undergrad life and journey and health and society in general. I know lots. You've got up to lots about in and outside the course. I might get into both classroom stuff, but also then outside the classroom. So I know nothing about, and there's a few people watching here today and listening live. And by the way, this goes up on recorded, so there'll be people watching this back. But health and society. What is it all about? What did you do in it, and how did you find it overall?
I loved it. So I just graduated, so I did my 3 years and finished there. I got my little cert in the post a few weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Hopefully an in-person graduation will be held next semester, but look, we'll keep our fingers crossed. No, I loved it. I loved the modules, how there was just such a wide variety of things you could study within the course. And I felt it really suited me. And obviously when I met my friends in the course, it really suited them as well. So it was really good to meet people who, were in the same boat as me, especially like from the Leaving Cert, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do while I was in my Leaving Cert. So I suppose I'll kind of start that story on how I even got to Health and Society. So I initially thought I wanted to do communications or something within media. So I knew DCU is really well known when it comes to that sort of thing. So I'd been to a few open days around the country, felt okay about it, but then I had heard so much about DCU that I made sure that I was going to go to the open day. So I went, and I actually saw one of the girls talking about this on the podcast or on the video before, saying that, just not to sound super cliche, but when I went, I just felt really at home in DCU, and I just really, really liked it. And I went to the talks, and I was really interested in the different media courses. But as the year went on, I kind of shifted my focus on something more sciencey. I kind of wanted to do a science degree, and I honestly was raging because I was like, oh my God, like I'm not going to go to DCU anymore. I'm going to have to find somewhere else. And I was online, and I was on the phone with my friend, and I was like, oh, I just wish DCU did a mix of a course. Then they did like something to do with health, because I really liked biology, and I really liked home ec, and I really liked history, something a bit of sociology, you know. And as I was looking down through the courses, I just saw health and society, and I almost like dropped the phone. I was like, wait, what is this course? So I clicked in, and this was when, yeah, it was when I was in Leaving Cert. And then I got in touch with the lecturers, and they were all really helpful on email. And yeah, that's how I made my decision. But I really, really enjoyed it. So as I said, I was initially interested in doing something in media. But the thing with DCU is when I was in first year, even though I wasn't doing a media course, I still had the opportunity to get involved with media things with the clubs and society. So there's the MPS society. So I got to like get involved with everything. And you know, even if you're not studying something academically, you can still expand your skills and get that experience on DC, which I was really, really happy about, because I kind of was like, oh my God, I felt so that I was, you know, cutting off media forever, but I wasn't. You know, I still got to experience that and see what was to offer. So yeah, that's kind of where how I got to Health and Society and got to DCU. But the course itself, I mean, in terms of the class sizes, is quite small, maybe between 30 to 40 students, depending on the year. And, you know, it was mainly continuous assessment, which I really liked. And I feel like a lot of people do prefer that than having all the pressure on exams. I feel like after Leaving Cert, I just needed a break from this exam focus. So now there was exams, but not as many. You know, it was mainly CA. But yeah, there was a bit of group work. There was a lot, mostly individual work, but there was group work. There was practical based things. You know, in final year, you have to do a health action project. And then in first year, we also, for one of the modules, we had to undertake a certain form of volunteering. So me and a few of the girls, we did this soup run in Dublin city centre. So that was a great experience, you know, getting to do that and see the real implication that these societal issues have on society, especially, you know, on our doorstep. So there's so much you can do. And I think with my course as well, what you put in, you really get out. I feel like everyone says that, but it's true. So there definitely is a nice blend between your core science modules and then your kind of sociology modules. So I feel like anybody who's interested in that, it's the course for them. And especially if somebody wants to go on and to do a health related profession, but they're not quite sure what profession, it's a great starting point. So, you know, now that we've all graduated, I've been catching up with some people from the course, and a lot of the girls and the lads were kind of saying, like, you know, what they wanted to do, what they thought they wanted to do at the beginning. Through studying the 3 years, they realized, oh, I actually want to do this. You know, I'm doing a master's now in HR, and at the beginning I thought I wanted to do something completely different, and it's led me to my master's. So yeah, I'm really, really thankful for it, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it, and it brought them to where they needed to be.
A couple of things, because I want to unpack one or two things. I try to unpack one or two things there, but one of them in particular is around research open days. So there's people, the likelihood is people watching this now or people watching this back on record will be in the CAO kind of mindset. What will I choose? Open days, researching, talking to students, lecturers, and so on. Depending on obviously COVID and everything else, physical open days may or may not be there, but hopefully at some point we'll be able to do it safely in some way.
Yeah.
Open days were one of a number of places you did research. Was it online, social media? Where else did you do your research?
Well, I definitely started just from like chatting to people, like to friends and to, you know, I have older sisters, so you know, they're friends, and it kind of started from there. And then I wasn't aware when I was in school that colleges had student ambassadors and they had people you could actually talk to. I actually didn't realize how welcoming, you know, different colleges were and how welcoming DCU was. So definitely the open days. If I could go back in time, I would definitely tell myself to go to every open day, everywhere, just to get the feel for the colleges, you know. And I think I went to DCU twice. I went there for we went to see Hamlet when I was in fifth year, I think, for our English. And then I said, okay, I need to come back and do an actual open day because we got to have a look around, but I wanted to come back and do a real one. Um, so definitely, if I was to go back in time, I would, you know, utilize the services of, you know, talking to student ambassadors and not just the lecturers. So it's great to get a student perspective. But when I was in Leaving Cert, my main mode of research was online and was the open day. But I wish I knew about the ambassadors. You know, I almost was too scared to email. I saw something about online and I thought, oh no, I can't message them. You know, who am I? But I didn't. Now I definitely understand that you definitely just go for it.
And just for those that are, just to bring that point up to speed, so you can actually log on right now to our UniBuddy platform where
Mm.
student ambassadors are actually in behind that and you can chat to them, or depending on if we have campus tours, as you know, Sinead, we do, our student ambassadors do campus tours and tell you about
Yeah.
the college and the place and the location and the courses and so on. So if you are listening live or watching us back, do get in touch anytime, studenthelp@dcu.ie. Just want to remind people there's a Q&A function as well if you have a question as we're talking. Please do ask it in. Another thing that I want to try unpack that you said was, and you're doing the stuff in Dublin City Centre and you're getting your practical experience. Did you come into the course knowing it was kind of a mixture of practical and theory? Did you have that awareness, or as you went through the program, all these different things started to become opportunities? It became apparent. Did you have an awareness of the practical side as well?
I don't know. I didn't. I didn't have that awareness that there was a practical based module. I knew that there was no placement as such, because you know in business you have your year-long placement. I knew that. Just I got that information from chatting to the lecturers like on email and at the open day. But so I was pleasantly surprised. I think it was in second semester. They might have changed it since that we had that module. Um, but on I checked online, you can get there's a link to on the Health and Society page. You can look at the module. So I got to see what was CA, and I got to see like you know that it wasn't a very exam focused module, that it was mainly CA. So that kind of I knew that going into the course. But as regards to the practical based side of things, I didn't know. And then you know when I was going into it, I wasn't thinking about my final year. I wasn't thinking, oh, what will I do my dissertation on? You know, when I was in Leaving Cert. But when I got into final year, I shouldn't say dissertation, my health action project was, you know, it was very practical based. Like I didn't have to, but I decided to hold a talk on campus where students came, and I had to put posters up, you know, on my around my topic, and you know raise awareness. So that was very practical, you know. And we also had a research methods module in second year, and we had to conduct like interviews with just fellow students. And yeah, so it was a lot more practical than I thought, but which is great. Like I was really happy with that. So but no, to answer your question, I didn't actually know about it when I was going into the course.
So to summarize, and then might just speak a little bit more about modules, as in specific modules and what's involved. So 3 year
Yeah.
course, class size wasn't too big. You're based on Glasnevin campus.
Yes. Yes.
So for those that
And
aren't
the class
aware,
size,
go on.
yeah, sorry, I was going to say that I loved how the class was small, because it was like everybody knew each other. Lecturers all knew you by your first name. You know, really wasn't like a daunting experience. And for some modules we were with nursing students, but even at that it still wasn't like a huge lecture hall. Like I always felt comfortable to ask a question in class, you know, that I wasn't with hundreds and hundreds of people and I was like, oh god, I can't raise my hand here. So yeah, but we remain 100% on Glasnevin campus.
So for those, thank you for that. For those that aren't aware, we have a number of campuses. So depending on the program that you're studying at DCU, you could be based on the Drumcondra campus, which is primarily education. There's an All Hallows campus, which provides a bit of educational academia as well. And then Glasnevin, which is what we're talking about now, is another campus where Health and Society, as is lots of other courses. Something that always comes up as a small thing, but hours a week, roughly speaking, contact hours a week versus then work you're expected to do in your own time. A rough estimation in that?
The actual hours a week that we had, they were kind of similar all throughout the 3 years. I mean, it was between in and around, I'm going to call it 15 hours a week of actual lectures, maybe between 12, depending on the week. And then, God, hours after that, I don't know. I couldn't say, like, as in, the way I would usually do my day. I'd go to college, and then me and my friends and me and my classmates, we would usually go for lunch on campus, and then we'd go to the library and we'd spend hours in the library. But it wasn't like, sometimes I'd be on the phone to my parents. They'd be like, "Jesus, you've been in the library all day," and I'm like, it doesn't feel like I was in the library all day, because I was, we were going for breaks and stuff. But it was, that's the main thing that I miss, how social I found the library was almost like a nice place to go. I enjoyed going there. I'm sure you hear that around everywhere. It was a real social place. Everybody was in the library, so you have to be careful not to get too distracted in the library, in the area where you're allowed to speak up. But I couldn't put a number on the actual hours. But in first and second year it was quite moderate. It was just, you kept on going. But then in final year, obviously there was a lot more work needed, but nothing too strenuous. But you could, yeah, it was good. I managed to keep up. I worked 1 day a week, so I still managed to keep up a small, part-time job. I know some of my friends who had part-time jobs that was, a longer part-time job. They struggled a bit, but yeah, that's it was very social on campus and going to the library and all that. So it did kind of eat up a lot of hours, but it was good. It was good.
Talk to me a little bit about, because you mentioned there talking to your folks, coming, because obviously we have students from all over Ireland, all over the world that come to DCU. Some come from just outside of Dublin, some come from well beyond outside of Ireland, etc. Talk to me a little bit about that and the journey, if you can recall, kind of coming into DCU, how you were feeling, nervous, or how you settled in, and then I guess the side of it of making friends, and how did that kind of all come about, albeit it kind of takes a couple of weeks to materialize.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm from Mayo, so I feel like, Dublin to Mayo, it's a bit of a distance. Getting the train, getting the bus, it's a couple hours away, or driving or whatever. So in first year, I was lucky that I knew a few people from my school, and just from people that I already knew that were going to be on campus and going to be studying. And no, I didn't know anybody in my course. Now I was completely 100% on my own there. So, but most people from my school kind of stayed local. They either went to colleges that were around Mayo, kind of stayed in the west. But I was nervous, but I just the orientation was really well implemented. I felt that, we had icebreakers and stuff, and I'm still friends with one of the girls that I just happened to be sitting next to at one of our talks in T101. I'm still friends with her. Like, I was talking to her yesterday. It's funny how things work out, because, but I think a lot of people comment on this, that DCU while it's a big campus, it's also a very small campus. Everybody seems to almost know everyone, and you see a lot of friendly faces everywhere. So it's definitely a very homely place. So after the first few weeks, I was completely settled in. But I really found that, like, having to get yourself involved with the clubs and societies was really, really helpful to make friends in making friends. And even in second year, I joined different societies that I wasn't involved with in first year, and made more friends. So it's not just about in first year that you make your friends then and that's it. It's always a process. But yeah, it was honestly very smooth. I was surprised. I was nervous, but I don't think I should have been as nervous as I was.
Yeah, I often, even as I was a student myself in DCU, recall, I think everybody's nervous. All the three odd thousand people are nervous. So sometimes you forget that you're definitely not the only one. So you're happy enough. So looking back now, you're happy enough. You chose the right course. You're settling in. The course itself, you're finding enjoyable. Class sizes are great. They're not too big because you get to know everybody, etc. So if we could, for the last couple of minutes, because there's only a snapshot in time, but the last few minutes is a little bit about outside the SU, clubs and societies, opportunities that came your way, and what you got involved with outside of the program that kind of complemented inside the program.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing that at the SU hold this big function hall where they have all of the societies and clubs and stuff, and I joined so many, like so many that I joined. But the one thing that I really wanted to get involved with was like the trips. So the surf, for example, the first trip that I went on was with the Surf Society, and there was a on the weekend, the bank holiday weekend in October. Just a girl in my course who I wasn't even that good friends with at the time. I just was sitting next to her in a class and I was like, oh, they're doing this thing. They're going to Bundoran for a weekend. Like, looks kind of fun. And she was like, let's go. So we just went, signed up, and paid her money. It wasn't expensive because it's subsidized by the SU, and we just had such a ball. And I'm still friends with people that I made on that trip. So there's loads of now I was lucky that I lived nearby, like I lived in Shinoan, so I was able to just pop over to campus and go to the different events, because there was loads of fundraiser events. Like I remember in that October, DCU Dance did the Full Monty, and we all went to that. Like that was a great event, and Rag Rumble and stuff. But I also, what other trips did I go? I went on loads of things. Like in second year, when I kind of had my core group of friends, we all went on the DCU Snow Sports ski trip, which was amazing. Like that was like the highlight of our year. And then we went on again the next year. Became a bit of a tradition. And then I went to some balls. There was the ANF ball. Just did loads of things. But you really do have to put yourself out there, and you have to sign up to these things. Some things I was doing on my own. Also in first year, with the health and the health society, which I didn't even think that there could be a club and society just dedicated to health. We went to Budapest for 3 nights, and I rounded up a load of the girls from my course to go. So there was like 10 of us who went, but it was brilliant. But something that I kind of wish I got myself involved more with some of the societies. Like I wish I got myself involved with like the scuba diving society. I regret not doing that, but anyway, it'll come in time. But yeah, loads of things that I did and encouraged everyone. Like the quest, I didn't do the quest myself, but loads of my friends did the quest. That looked like such crack, with ESOC. But yeah, there's definitely so much. I love the emphasis on clubs and societies in DCU, because you really can, try loads of different things and enjoy it,
So obviously you get the opportunity, as in the immediate trip abroad or Snow Society.
Yeah.
And then I guess if now, and you're only speaking a little bit about somebody you met, it obviously gives you an opportunity to build up your network, and you never know when that person might become helpful for you in a job or in a situation. So, and we're nearly at the end. So I think you said it already, but one of the questions I always ask, kind of towards the end of a conversation, is if you're looking back, and you've probably answered it already, but I'll say it again. But if you're looking back, anything you do differently, anything jump to mind now that people are listening now where you were a few years ago, anything jump to mind?
I just wish I could go back, and I wish I could be back in first year and just do it again. But the only thing that I would say is I would just do more, not get so bogged down and be like, oh, I don't know what people think of me if I do this. I just wish I did more. So that's what I would say. I wish I would do more. Like, even in first year, I was on campaign teams for people who were running for the SU, something that I'd never done before, and it was really fun. It's just a completely different experience, all these different things. But if I was to go back in time and start again, it was definitely just to get myself involved more, because you definitely have time, so that's just to do more, really.
It's funny. I've asked that like pretty much every week to everybody that's been on, and it doesn't always come back with, I wish I would have got involved more, but it's a variation of it. So I guess if you are listening, watching now live or watching it back, sound advice. We didn't, and we might have another minute or so. We didn't even get a chance yet to ask about being a student ambassador. What is that, and what do you do, or what did you do, or continue to do, because we're still doing it?
Yeah, well, obviously it's very different this year because it's online, but like that was something that I came to college, didn't think that I'd be getting a job on campus, so when that opportunity came around, I just jumped at it and had to. Because I remember my very first day when I was doing orientation in first year, there was an ambassador, and she brought me. Her name was Sarah. She brought me to one of the rooms, and I thought to myself, what are you doing? Like, are you? And I said it to her. I said, are you working, or like, what's the story here? And she explained it to me. She was like, sure, the applications go out in May, I think. And then I just kept it in my head, and then I got the email, and I said, oh my god, I'm going to do this. And then I was working with her the next year. We were working together. So I've loved it. It's that's another thing that I found. I just met so many people through, like, sometimes my friends be like, oh, how do you know so and so? And I'm like, oh, I met them when I was working, doing the student ambassador stuff. But great experience, on my CV as well. Employers love when they see that, because I don't get the opportunity to give tours or give talks to so many people that often. So it's been a really good experience. And I'm so happy that I got to do it again this year while I'm doing a master's.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you back. And for those that are listening and you do find yourself eventually coming to DCU, keep it in mind.
Yeah, definitely do.
Sinead will tell you, you get to meet people, from all over, be it the President of Ireland, the President of the university, lecturers, guests that we have on campus. You obviously do campus tours, you talk to students, parents, run events. You pretty much do everything, I would imagine, across.
Yeah, it's really nice talking to, especially I find talking to parents, making them feel at ease if I see them at the open day. Like it's quite rewarding in that sense. Or even if you come across prospective students who are, a little bit nervous, or, I really enjoy it in that type of thing. Make it, because I really appreciated when I met student ambassadors when I was in their position. So it's nice to be in, like, switch roles and be in that position.
Yeah, and give back you do, and you all do, to be fair. All the student ambassador team do some great work with all the prospective students and parents and teachers, and well beyond that. We're just out of time. I know these are only a snapshot in time, so you only literally got to cover it, but hopefully it gave a sense to those listening live and watching us back on record, a sense of Sinead and her journey. At any time, because I know, Sinead, you've done this plenty of time, at any time, if you do have a question, get in touch with studenthelp@dcu.ie. We'd be more than happy to help facilitate the answer to the question, or in lots of cases, we often put students in touch with students from the programs that they're looking to go to. So really just a thanks and an appreciation for your time.
Thank you very much. So yes, anyone listening or watching back, don't hesitate to just send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can with any questions.
Much appreciated. We'll see you soon, and stay safe.
Okay.
Have a good Christmas too.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
See you.